One thing that I find that just really can help a video, I don't know, just add to its uniqueness, is just extremely tight shots on whatever it may be. So in today's video, we're not going to be talking about a Lumix S5. Oh no. We're going to be experimenting with the new Lumix 100mm f2.8 macro lens from the guys over at Lumix. Shout out as we goof around for the first time ever with the macro lens. So today, rather than yapping about the specs, which are pretty awesome because from what I can tell, this lens is unbelievably small and compact and lightweight, comparatively speaking to other lenses that are doing the same, I guess, functionality. Probably not the best word. Of course, we've got autofocus, we've got manual focus, and then we have a couple of different like distance functions as well. All right, time out real quick. Small disclaimer. When I first started filming this video, I had the 100mm macro lens, I want to say roughly about 2 weeks. So a lot of the footage that you'll see at the end of this video was when I had just received the lens. But yesterday, I just came back from 2 massive events that were pretty much dedicated to using the 100mm macro, the Lumix S5iix, and the Weebill 3S. Now, if you're wondering what some of that footage looks like, let's go ahead and roll it so you can get a taste of how it looks. So our first event was a Night for Heroes for UF Health. And this event, very classy, one of those events that this 100mm macro came in handy because it allowed me to be at the back of the room and still get tight shots, use that autofocus on the gimbal. And then we moved to the wedding. Same here, being able to be far away from the talent, but still getting diverse shots, wide, tight, all on that gimbal, nice and smooth, and just capturing that performance to then be able to use in content for the particular band. And the 100mm just found was lightweight and a joy to use. So let's go ahead and just jump into a real world test. And as you guys are seeing, these are all handheld shots. Now we do have a little bit of a camera rig. We've got the monitor, we've got the lens, V-mount battery, so stabilization is pretty solid. Just kind of goofing around, walking around the studio and filming some different items so that you guys can see how this particular lens would just perform handheld, walking around in the studio. Now, of course, we then transition into a little bit more of a controlled environment where we had put the camera not only on a tripod, but even a slider to get some really up close, nice tight shots. Now, most of this was shot in Vlog and shot at roughly an f2.8 with autofocus. Now, some of those slider shots were really nice and give a unique perspective of what this lens can do, and I just found that the usability and functionality of this, whether it was using center autofocus, oval autofocus, or even from time to time using the tracking, the success rate was pretty solid. And one other thing I wanted to make sure to do while in the studio was take some photos so that you guys could get an understanding of how this lens would function when it comes to photography. Photography is going to be a huge bonus with macro lenses, which is why not only will we do some inside, but let's go ahead and do some outside. So one thing that I wanted to give was an example of just real world, you're out and about. So no better option than the kiddos, and just kind of got that autofocus set on face tracking.
Who are you talking to, lady?
And we're just letting it do its thing. Going back and forth between the kids, and some photos. Just as an example of what you can get with this lens, small disclaimer, I am not a photographer, but you know, right out of the box, this is what you'll be getting. So as mentioned earlier, I've had the 100mm macro in my possession for roughly about a month. We've gotten to shoot a diverse kind of portfolio of projects with that particular lens. Now, I would have to say with this particular lens, definitely something that's a little bit more niche. And what I mean is that it would not be the first lens that I'd actually purchase. I do shoot with the kit lens, the 20-60. I also was recently sent a unique lens from Lumix, the 28-200, which let's just say is a all-around one-stop shop for a lens just to take everywhere with you. But all of that being said, I have been blown away with the footage with this particular lens. Why? Mainly, as mentioned in the video, being able to be pretty far away from your talent or whatever you're filming, getting that nice tight feel, and it being an f2.8 is nice as well. For low light, also depth of field in regard to the shots themselves and how they come out. Now, also mention on the gimbal, huge asset that this is a very lightweight setup, very small. The autofocus functions very well, and just, you guys got to see some of the footage. We're even rolling some right now. I just think it's a great kind of combination. Now, of course, the 20-60 as well, as far as size-wise goes, you guys can see here, pretty similar in size, nothing too crazy in regards to weight and size distribution. So not identical, but very similar. Now, one thing I will say with the 100mm, I hope to have it in my possession for a little bit longer and keep using it and experimenting more with the macro style stuff. So a lot of product videos that I do, I plan on using it just because I will say these particular type lenses, they can get those macro shots, particularly this 28-200, but the 20-60 doesn't do the best job, and then some of my Canon glass can't as well. So having this as an option is a huge bonus. I want to make several videos on this before I give an overall conclusion, because I'm very happy with it as someone that's been using it for a month. But I'm trying to figure out how often will this be used in a production. And I will say, as someone that films a lot of events, this really does come in handy. For interviews, I have not used it yet. I really hope to and plan to, but that's one thing I want to experiment with. I also did not do too much outdoors. I want to experiment more with it outdoors. This is, for a disclaimer, not a vlogging camera. It's not something you're ideally going to go like this. Now, you can record yourself. You're just going to have to be really far away from the camera. As mentioned, been super pumped with it. Want to spend more time with it. I really want to do a night shoot where I'm on the gimbal with this and go to downtown Jack's. I think the footage would look amazing, but enough of me yapping. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll report back on not only the Lumix stuff, but I got a couple of recent projects I think you guys are gonna like, give you some insight on how I tackled them as a one-man band. I'm out. That was kind of lame doing the pieces.